Opportunity for you to ask questions after the presentation concludes. Should you need assistance during the conference call, please signal an operator by pressing star then zero on your touchtone phone. Please note that this conference is being recorded. I now hand the call to Mr. Sanjesh Jain from ICICI Securities. Thank you, and over to you, sir.
Thanks, Sagar. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining on Tejas Networks Ltd. Second quarter FY25 results conference call. We have Tejas Networks management on call, represented by Mr. Anand Atharia, Chief Executive Officer and Managing Director, Mr. Arnob Roy, Chief Operating Officer and Full-Time Director, Mr. Sumit Dhingra, Chief Financial Officer, Dr. Kumar N. Sivarajan, Chief Technology Officer. I would like to invite Mr. Arnob to initiate the call with his opening remark, post which we will have a Q&A session. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
So, everyone, welcome to our quarterly investor call. I hope you have received, you've seen the slides that we have uploaded. So I'll take a few minutes to go through them before our Q&A session. I'm on the first chart. Our quarterly revenues has been the highest ever in the history of the company, 2,811 crores, with a profit after tax of 275 crores, and an order book at the end of Q2 is 4,845 crores. So some of the significant things that have happened during the quarter for our wireless business, we have significantly ramped up our 4G 5G RAN shipments with networks. This quarter we did more than 30,000 sites, and cumulatively we have shipped more than 58,000 sites to the BSNL network. I think it has been a tremendous achievement in terms of scaling up our manufacturing capacity. We also received additional orders for densification of the installed 4G sites in a few circles, and by that what I mean is that to increase the coverage of BSNL, many of the existing sites, the single band sites have been upgraded to dual band with the addition of band 28. And with that, with the existing deployment, BSNL will get a lot more additional coverage with the installation of this additional band. From a wireless business, we have been selected for CTM and WDM equipment from one of the tier 1 telcos in India for the capacity expansion for the 4G 5G mobile networks. We have seen continuing success in the critical infrastructure segment in India, and we have been selected by a leading state power utility company for their captive SCADA networks, and also been selected in one of the smart city projects in the country. In the international market, we have seen good traction for GPON and WDM products, and we've had a few new customer wins in the Americas and in Africa. And we received our initial order for the network modernization win in the US, which we had reported last quarter. We have seen the initial orders coming, which will be supplying this quarter, and we hope to follow this up with additional again. From a corporate point of view, we completed the mergers with Concall in this quarter. So now I'll hand it over to Sumit, our CFO, for walking us through the financial numbers.
Good evening, everyone. For the quarter, we did revenues of 2,655 crores. This is 1.8x of the previous quarter and about 6.7x of the year before. After considering the other operating revenue, which is predominantly PLI incentive, the revenue was 2,800 crores. Against this, we did an EBIT of 459 crores. Profit after tax of 275 crores compared to 77 crores of profit in the previous quarter. If we move to the next slide where we talk about key financial indicators. Our inventory at the end of the quarter was 3,411 crores, which is come up slightly compared to the previous quarter, and it's expected to further come down as we convert this into finished goods. Then receivables stand at about 3,758 crores. The increase is predominantly stemming from higher shipments that happened in this quarter. We also collected about 1,400 crores during the period. Working capital has gone up by about 100 crores, and our borrowing position at the end of the quarter was 2,768 crores, with a cash of about 583 crores. This is the standard over back to Arnab.
Yeah. Thanks, Sumit. So, little bit more color of our quarter performance and the business outlook. So, in terms of the revenue that we did, of course, the largest segment has been India private, 92% of that, and as we had mentioned earlier, the BSNL shipments simply close to TCS, the private operator, private company. We categorize this as India, private revenues. So revenue is still dominated by our shipments for BSNL. The India government business declined about 4% of our revenues and declined year-over-year by 5%, and that was mainly because we were at the tail end of two of the contracts, and as we know that most of the government contracts go as far as tenders are concerned, they are not run rate business, so they go in the at the initial period there is a increase, and then there is a tail end, and then there is the next project which happens. So international, there was also a decline because of the timing of the POs and the shipments. And however, the key shipments, this was 3% of our overall revenues, and the key shipments that happened international were to Africa and South Asia. We had a closing backlog of 1,800 crores. Most of it in India, the 4,600 of that in India, and 200 plus in international. From a business outlook point of view, some of the key opportunities, large opportunities that we are targeting is one part of it is the expansion of BSNL's 4G networks on the saturation sites, and also for the 5G upgrades, for which trials are ongoing right now, and we hope to convert this at some point of time. The Indian Railways tender on the collision avoidance system, where we have completed our POC successfully, and we are waiting for the tender to come out and bidding to happen. The third large one is a private 5G application for a large enterprise in India, where again we are in ongoing trials right now. Okay. From a wireline point of view, the big opportunities for us is BharatNet Phase 3, where we have bid into the tender with multiple partners. I think majority of the partners have bid our equipment into the tender. The other part is the expansion of WDM backbone networks in the utility segment. Most of our utility customers, for their telecom business, they are seeing significant business growth in their networks and traffic growth. So all of them plan for major expansion in their networks. And thirdly, for the international operators, we see major opportunities in FTTH or GPON, and also network modernization deals with multiple operators in both India as well as America. So I also wanted to add that I mentioned a few of the large deals that we have been targeting, but at the same time there are many other smaller deals that we are working on, and especially there are many other opportunities in wireless that we are targeting, with initial POCs or design proposals and stuff like that, and I can say that we are finally starting to see a lot more engagement with our wireless products, both in India as well as international markets. So from a long-term business outlook point of view, we still see outlook being very positive in all the factors that we have mentioned earlier, which are driving growth of networks, growth of traffic in the networks, and which lead to traction for our business. All of them continue to be positive and continue to show growth, whether it's in enterprise digital transformation, whether in AI data centers, the deployment of long runway of 4G and 5G deployments, not only in India but globally, and the backhaul networks for those as well, and the investments in broadband connectivity that continues at quite a fast pace across the world. Then digitalization of cities, the smart cities, safe cities, and applications like that, and the modernization of utility networks, and modernization of not only utility networks but also international VC of old TDM-based network infrastructure. Large infrastructure has been deployed. Modernization of those networks also. So all of the applications that we target with our RAN, 4G, 5G RAN and backhaul products, with our multi-terabit packet and packet transport, switching and optical products, and our FTTH application products, we see a lot of traction for most of the applications that are driving this network traffic growth across the world. So with that, I'll stop over here and we can take some questions. We can do a Q&A session right now. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We will now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 on their touchtone phone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star and 2. Participants are requested to use handsets while asking a question. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. The first question is from the line of Aman Soni from Invest Analytics Advisory LLP. Please go ahead.
Hi, am I audible?
Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
Good evening, sir. Congrats for a good set of numbers. Just one question on the kind of execution that happened in this quarter. It is quite significant, right? So my question is, do you see like this kind of execution is going to sustain in the upcoming quarters for next, say, 3 to 4 quarters, sir?
Execution in terms of our RAN shipments, for the 5G shipments to be
execution in terms of top line and bottom line kind of margins you reported in this quarter.
Well, as you know, we don't give revenue guidance, quarterly guidance kind of thing. But I think people are fairly knowledgeable and I think understand our business quite well as our business pipeline. So without, we won't give any business guidance about that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Question is from the line of Sohan Joshi from ASC Consultants. Please go ahead.
Good evening, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, Sohan, you are audible.
Congratulations for a great set of numbers. My first question is, in the previous Concall, you said that BSNL is going to come up with a nationwide tender for 5G in high-speed performance back of 3.5 gigahertz band. Can you please share any update whether any proof of concept is going on with regards to this?
Yeah. Yes, there are. So not for the 3.5 gigahertz band yet, but for the 5G upgrades, the POCs that we are doing right now is for the 5G upgrades to the in the 4G bands that we have shipped.
Okay, so that is for the 40% sites under 2,100 megahertz, right? Basically, the proof of concept which is going on currently.
Yeah, not only in that, but it's also in the other bands as well.
Okay, so the tender is out. When the tender will be floated, this part of the project?
No. This 5G upgrade is part of the current tender that we are executing right now.
Okay. Got it.
It's not for the 3.5 gigahertz band, which is going to come later.
Okay, got it. My second question is, this CG Power have acquired the radio frequency components from Renaissance Electronics. So can you please explain what will be the implications of this on our partnership with Renaissance for designing and development of semiconductor solutions for 4G, 5G RAN?
See, we are users of those semiconductor components. We are not designers of those of the semiconductor components which goes into 4G, 5G RAN. So I think whatever partnerships that you're talking about is, going to be, supplies for the radios which are being designed for 4G, 5G, and so that's what the implication is. I mean, it's not that we are not in that business of semiconductors or chips for radios.
So is it fair to assume that going ahead, since we have already done localization of most of the components, going ahead there won't be any major imports from our side, and since majority will be components will be localized?
No, I think many of the key semiconductor components are still imported because they come from tier one semiconductor vendors across the world, and a lot of it is in the US. But there are other components of the radio. A lot of it is actually localized, and for those parts, we source from India. But I think the key semiconductors are still imported components.
One last question.
They are not yet manufactured in India. I think at the time, you hear a lot of noise of semiconductor fabs coming up and all this kind of thing. I think when they become real and when the production starts over there and relevant chips that we use for our wireless and wireline products, when they start getting manufactured in India, of course we will definitely source for them. But that's still going to take some time.
Okay, one last question. Now, since a lot of talks are going on with regards to satellite communication, and BSNL have also started testing direct-to-device solutions, are we in talks with BSNL or any other Tata Group companies or any other internet service provider for satellite communication devices of Sankhya?
Yeah, we are talking to a few potential customers, but again, these are long lead times. These things don't happen overnight. So we are talking to a few of the other providers and see, where we can take the satellite communication product, the vehicle tracking system that we have built, and see if we can use it for other applications.
So proof of concepts are going on with regards to these devices, right?
So the vehicle tracking system is deployed. It is actually not proof of concept. It's actually shipped.
Okay, got it. Thank you. All the best for the upcoming quarters.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Advait Lat from Nippon India Mutual Fund. Please go ahead.
Yeah, so congrats on a great set of numbers. Am I audible?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, so just wanted to ask how has our international order pipeline grown or declined year on year, or what is the color there in terms of what you think and how it has shaped up?
Yeah, I think this quarter has been a bit soft from our international business, especially from many of our run-rate customers, but they also come in cycles. But importantly, I think we've been able to win a few more logos, few more new customers, which are strategic wins in international territory. So we looking at that as as a very positive sign as we expand our footprint across many more customer base. So that's how it went during the quarter.
Right, sir. And on actually two components, Kavach, sir. Kavach is a big opportunity. So do you think we are well placed in it because of the wireless aspect of it?
Yeah, so as of now, given that we've had very successful POC, I think we are well placed over there. I think our products do meet the requirements that the customer wants.
Got it, sir. And just last question from my side. The 5G upgradation, you said it's already baked into the current tender. What about the incremental 5G deployment? That would have to be tendered again, and that timeline is not clear, right?
Yeah. So that timeline is not clear. We are expecting it to happen, later in the later quarters. But right now, the first part of it is the 5G upgrade in the current networks in the existing bands. And that's the current tender, and we don't yet have that PO, so we're doing the POC right now.
So that would be implemented in FY25 itself, or that will take a bit longer?
Yeah, I don't think it is going to be executed in all of it in FY25. I mean, we think that when it will take some time for the POC to get completed and orders to come and the execution to happen. So I think it will be a few quarters.
Okay, got it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Sanjesh Jain. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for taking my questions. So I've got a couple of them. First, on this Kavach project, are we involved into the equipment for anti-collision or the 4G or LTE deployment on 700, which is the same band we are putting for BSNL for the railway as well? What is the part within the Kavach are we playing the role?
Yeah, it's only the wireless communication network.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. That's very clear. Second, on the closing backlog, which stands at close to 71 billion rupees, can you just help us in breaking what is the BSNL's component within this 71 billion and how has non-BSNL component has grown Q2 and YOY?
Yeah, we actually don't disclose customer-wise or any of the segment-wise like that. So I think we just the closing backlog is actually 4,845 crores. You may have seen the presentation. So we only split it between India and international and don't disclose it customer-wise or project-wise.
Got it. That's not a problem. And on the last question, how has been the performance of the network? Because we have been on now probably at a risk of deployment. How has been the performance of the network which has been rolled out on our network? Has it been same as what was proven during POC?
The performance actually has been pretty good. So I mean, as we said, we've shipped close to 50,000 sites websites, and a lot of it is actually being installed and commissioned. And also, I think you must have seen on the press that there are a lot of BSNL is getting lot more customer traction. A lot of folks are coming back. So far so good. I mean, the radios have been performing very well. We are closely monitoring. So again, we've been shipping now for more than a year. So far so good. We'll continue to monitor.
Got it. Just one last question. Are we anyway also looking into getting into the maintenance or O&M part of the network, or we will restrict ourselves to the supplying equipment?
No, I think maintenance is and support is part of the tender, and there is actually after 3 years we have the support agreement which is there, and that will come after the 3-year period of time after deployment.
So when we say closing backlog, do we include the O&M part as well?
No. Not as of now.
That is only the equipment part of it, right? So O&M will be a recurring business and it will kick in from year 3.
That is correct.
Got it. That's very clear. Very helpful. Best of luck and thanks for taking the questions.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Ashish Sriram Thavkar from JM Mutual Funds. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity. So with this Cisco, they're setting up a facility in India, and simultaneously, we also have a center of excellence for wireless communication. So at any point in time, could we get engaged with Cisco? How should we read it?
So I think these two are unconnected. Cisco manufacturing in India. And this doesn't connect us in any way with Cisco. Our wireless lab, a center of excellence, is for our research and development efforts in wireless. And Cisco is more of localizing their manufacturing over here. And these two are not connected, these two issues, right?
Yeah, fair enough. And on Kavach, I guess there's some shift in timelines from the government side. So how long do you see get to see some revenue traction? Is it a delayed opportunity?
Yeah, I think it is. Tender itself is running a bit behind schedule. Even though I think the testing and POCs and all are done, but I think the tender itself is running a little behind schedule. It is still scheduled for definitely this financial year as of now.
Okay. And what about BharatNet Phase 3 then? The tenders are closed. Any timelines? When can the outcomes come out?
Well, it is definitely far more advanced than Kavach, where all the bidding has happened, tendering and bidding has happened. So, I mean, we expect to see, from what we know, I think there's a lot of background work happening in the tender evaluation. So, maybe several weeks from now, depending on how the evaluation goes, and then the time we'll probably see the results coming out.
Okay, fair enough. So lastly on this Vodafone, we were also engaged in a dialogue with Vodafone. Any success there or potentially any business could come our way?
I don't think we have disclosed any particular customer by name as POCs are going on, except for BSNL and maybe railways. But yeah, I think there are customers, there are tier 1 operators in the country where the POCs are going on, and these POCs are going to a little extended cycles because as and when it comes, there are additional feature requests or some improvement requests we keep updating and also it's a longer POC cycle, and it is going well, and we hope to see business coming at the end of it. It is going to be a little long process.
Perfect. Just one last, if I may. So this international business, if you could share your perspective, 3 years out, where do you see international business? Is there at least in terms of quantum of order book that you want to build for those markets? Is there some number which is there in your mind?
For international business?
Yeah. What kind of
international business in general or for wireless, or what was your question? It's not clear.
It's a general for wireless or for our RAN equipment and the equipment that we supply.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to quantify, and we don't give guidance, but we are starting to see a lot of good traction and bidding opportunities and POC opportunities coming up. So as I mentioned, that we are starting to see. Initially our focus was mainly making BSNL successful and doing some of the local trials and POCs and opportunities in India, whether the private operators or Kavach or stuff like that. But now we are starting to engage a lot and outside of India as well, and seeing a lot more opportunities opening up for bidding and for POCs and things like that. So, but it's hard to quantify numbers at this stage.
Perfect. That was helpful, and all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Jinesh Shah from RSPN Ventures. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hello. First of all, congratulations on your numbers. So my first question would be that as of end of Q2, we had a major order book from BSNL, and right now we are targeting a couple more opportunities like Kavach, BharatNet, and everything. So I just wanted to understand that. What might be the expected TAM from all the opportunities that we are targeting, and also if we get positively, if we get the contract, then what will be the expected execution time that we will be starting the equipment supplying and everything? If you can provide a guidance on that.
Yeah, it's. I think the TAM is something we don't really disclose about, and also hard to establish across all of them. For the tenders that have come out for BharatNet and all, I think you've seen a lot of public reports on the tenders and size and all, so that information is available in public. For other opportunities, since we really yet do not know the scope of the tender, we have just high-level guidance on the number of sites, the number of stations, and things like that. We have some rough idea, but again, it's hard to speculate, and we don't speculate on those numbers. And there was a second part to your question.
Yeah. So my second part was that hopefully if you get the opportunities, then what will be like the execution timeline?
Yeah, timeline. Yeah, they all depend on when the tenders get awarded and the supply timelines that they set up. And since many of these are very large tenders, I think there will be a process and it will take some time in terms of tenders initiation and bidding, evaluation, and also I think we expect that many of these deals will actually roll over to the next financial year.
Okay, fair enough. So my second question would be regarding the borrowings that we have in our balance sheet. So right now, if I can see that it's around almost 3,000 CR, and now that Tejas has been getting good numbers. So and even if in last con call that we had discussed that probably by the end of this financial year, it will start to get eased out. So right now, are we planning to just reduce the pressure on working capital cycle?
Borrowing and
so I think the point we made in the last call also, I think it broadly continues as the project execution picks up or moves towards completion. We'll see the working capital intensity coming down. This obviously is also linked to other projects and as and when they get added to the order book. So till the time you have clarity on in some of those projects, hard to comment on how the working capital cycle plays out.
Okay, fair enough. And my last question would be that if I'm correct, that the BharatNet order is around 65K approximate budget, and and Tejas is specifically in supplying of equipment. So can I conclude that specifically with respect to this particular project, it's around 6,000 CR that will be eligible for bid, right?
So I think you're calculating 65,000 CR as officially for this phase, and then maybe you're taking 10% of that. So I think, I would say in the ballpark, but, could be lower and all. I mean, based on the combination of that, and also depends on, there are many other equipment, right? I mean, all of it is not addressed by our portion of the equipment in the network. There are other equipment also, right? But ballpark, you can say 8 to 10% of the overall spend comes into it. The rest of it is fiber and other infrastructure. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Aditya Mehta from GK Capital. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi sir, and congratulations on great set of numbers. So my question is with regards to private players in the domestic market. So there has been a lot of news flow regarding network upgradation deals being awarded to our global competitors. So just want to understand what is it that we are missing and we are not able to get a share of that pie from the private players.
Yeah, I think most of them, for their upgradation, have gone with their existing vendors. And as I said, that we were our focus largely up to now on the execution of the BSNL project. At the same time, we started POC last quarter with some of the other opportunity operators and the private industries as well. So I would say because they are in a hurry to expand, most of them have gone with the existing vendors, with the existing networks and so on. But at some point of time, later on, after we complete our POC successfully, I think we we will certainly expect to get some opportunities into the network. So this will still have a long tail of deployment.
So what is the winning point we have over them? Because if you see, it will be easy for them to integrate the existing equipments with the existing brand only. So what is the winning point that we might slice in a share from private players?
I think it will be, our equipment will be quite competitive, and it will support most of the bands, or almost all of the bands that are getting deployed in India. So a wide range of bands will also be supported. We have a variety of single band, dual band, triple band radios, quite a wide list of products. And also from an architecture point of view, our RAN, which has the BBU with integrated transport and things like that, features which reduce the overall cost of solution. I mean, those are some of the features that we think will have a differentiator with respect to global competition.
So, just one point: whether cost-wise we are efficient from our competitors, from global competitors, or not?
Let's put it this way, that it is not an apples cost kind of a thing, but the overall solution, the total cost of ownership, when we if you combine our radios and all the things that I talked about, the multi-band radios and the BBUs with integrated transport and a single BBU doing 4G, 5G. I mean, product architecture says that the total cost of solution would work out better.
Okay, so any timeline for this POC when it will complete it?
It is going on right now, so I think it will take some time, maybe another quarter or things like that. Then the POC.
Got it. And secondly, looking at our current order book, it seems that we will exhaust it within this financial year itself. So till now, after the BSNL order win, we haven't seen any major addition to our order book. So how do we see maintaining our revenue flow going ahead in the absence of any major addition?
Well, as I said, we don't give future revenue guidance, but we give a flavor of the opportunities, opportunities that we are targeting that are in front of us, which look positive for us. And those are the ones that are going to fill our backlog in our order book, and that's where the future business is going to come from. And it's hard to pinpoint a particular number and how the business is going to get replicated.
So do we see any major addition in order book in next 6 months or within this financial year?
Again, hard to give timelines, but I'll just go back to the slide where we talk about the key opportunities targeted, which is the expansion of BSNL 4G networks, the 5G upgrade in the current band, and the other ones, right? I mean, what I say, railways and the PowerNet safety, expansion of the medium backbone. All of them are actually fairly large projects, right? I mean, of course, 1,000 crores kind of a thing, right? So, once they materialize, I think that's the time we'll see our order book really expanding in terms of large numbers. But again, I just want to tell you that we're not giving any guidance over here, and these are also all opportunities where we are well positioned, but we have not really one in our hand to really give guidance about.
Got it. And just last question, over our tax rate, our tax rate is a little higher if we see. So why is it so?
Sorry, can you say higher? How are you looking at that?
So looking at new tax regime, compared it with new tax regime, it seems a little bit higher, at 2% around so.
We are not migrated to the new regime. We have losses accumulated over the past, so we're still in the old regime of taxation.
And when do we plan to shift to the new regime?
That will depend on various parameters, including how and when we absorb our losses.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah.
Sure. Thanks, and all the best for the future.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Krishna Heda from the Investment Forum. Please go ahead.
Good evening, sir. Am I audible?
Yeah, speak a little louder.
Yes, sir. First of all, congrats on the excellent set of numbers. How does the company plan to accelerate international sales given that international revenue contribution remains small at 3%? Are there any new certain geographies or contacts in the pipeline?
As I said, we have been investing and continue to invest into our sales channels and partnerships into the targeted geographies, which is North America, Europe, Middle East Asia, and Middle East Africa, Asia, and so on. So our strategy for growth is, investing in more and more sales channels and partnerships and participating in, as we get more visibility, we are participating in a lot more trade shows for building our brand and, getting more notice and winning whatever customer deals comes along to build our reference in those geographies, right? So this is a little long process which goes on. I mean, there have been significant engagements, significant opportunities that have also come up, which we are going through the process right now. But it is a long way. It's a long process of building your brand, building your channels, and getting to success, right? So, and we are going through all of that right now.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you. A request to all the participants, please restrict your questions to 2 per participant. If you have any follow-up questions, you can rejoin the queue. The next question is from the line of Komal Iyer from NBG CFO Services. Please go ahead.
Good evening, sir. I want to know, you have mentioned in your press release that you have made record deliveries of 30,000 plus 4G sites. So will you be able to maintain these kinds of deliveries for the next 2 quarters or exceed them?
Our manufacturing lines have been scaled to those kind of things.
Yeah, so yes, we have actually, we have increased capacity, so we will have the ability to deliver.
So we will be able to exceed this 30,000 plus number for the next 3rd and 4th quarter.
So I can't reveal exact numbers, but let's just say that we have the ability to execute.
Okay, that's it. Thank you from my side.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Rajesh Khattar from RK Capital. Please go ahead.
Good evening, sir. I have 2 to 3 small questions. So, you have shared your order book. Can you also share your pipeline numbers, as in how many tenders you have bid for, what is your confidence level in bidding the tenders, and the pipeline closing cycle?
No, unfortunately, we don't do that.
Okay. Then my next question, historically, the business has been quite up and down in the last 4 years. In 1 quarter or year, suddenly there are operating losses, and then in 1 quarter, suddenly you have bumper numbers. So going forward, I know you don't give guidance, and I'm not asking for numeric guidance, but going forward, will it be more consistent and less volatile? What will be the business trajectory going forward? You can just give a qualitative answer without getting into specific numbers. So as investors, how should we model the business?
Well, if you see, our business still is still dominated by large projects. So, and when that comes in, and large projects are still, in terms of a total business component, I mean, they're still dominant. So there will be periods when you see business wins coming, for large projects, and they get executed over multiple quarters, and the run rate business will become whatever comes from the private and the international kind of a thing. So while big projects dominate, I mean, there is a possibility of seeing a spike in terms of revenues, and that's the fact, right? I mean, that's the nature of our business as of now.
Okay, is it possible to give any base case scenario, or you will like to avoid that also?
No, not data. I think the way we should probably see the businesses from an overall annual point of view, right? I mean, quarter by quarter, while if our business is dominated by large projects and very big size, but I think overall, year over year, the business is what you always need to model.
Okay. So my last question, when you have the capacity, the previous participant asked you about your capacity to deliver 30,000 sites, and when you do have the capacity, you said, so what can stop you? What could go wrong? Let's say in the next quarter or the next to next quarter, where let's say you don't, do 30,000 sites. What can go wrong?
In terms of manufacturing, there is no issue as long as the order keeps coming the way we have anticipated and the way we see it. I don't think we have any issues in terms of being able to manufacture them.
Okay. So in terms of delivery or revenue, what could go wrong? Just trying to understand, why will it not translate into the numbers, or what can happen there?
What could go wrong in terms of manufacturing supply chain? I mean, if we have the order book, we don't, unless there are unforeseen events in terms of supply chain or any other thing that happens in a normal business cycle. I don't think any other factor really comes in, because we have really worked hard in setting up this kind of a manufacturing capacity, manufacturing line where we can ship at large numbers with high quality. So as far as whatever we can see, as far as the business is there, I don't really see any issues in terms of not being able to deliver, barring any unforeseen events that I really can't predict right now.
Okay, sir. That's helpful. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Agam from Raj Trading. Please go ahead.
Hello.
Yes, Agam, your line is unmuted. Please proceed.
Thanks for the opportunity. So most of my questions are answered. A quick thought. You might have said, but the rest are not clear. So can you share your thoughts? Your closing order book is already 4,400 crores. So I believe that a lot of projects to take time in. So whatever thoughts you can share. So what can we expect in the next 6 months to 1 year? What orders you will, or whatever you're looking at potential, whatever you can share. Just some color on it.
Yeah. So as I mentioned, I talked about some of the key opportunities. I think that should give an idea of the business being targeted and how the order book is going to get filled up, and again driven around BharatNet Phase 3, expansion of backbone network, expansion of BSNL 4G, 5G network, upgrades and things around that. Right? Most of the large opportunities I have highlighted. So those are the projects that are going to come into expanding our order book going forward.
So do you see them? Do you see all things progressing well going ahead? In the next 6 months, we should hear few things from here. Currently, from where we are.
These opportunities are all real, and apart from that, I think, as I mentioned at the end of my presentation, all the other drivers which are basically drivers for our business, which are causing expansion of network, growth of data traffic in network, and the applications of expansion of 4G, 5G networks and broadband expansion and data centers and stuff like that. All of those factors show no signs of slowing down. They are still going at a very fast level. So all the drivers for our business, the indicators still look good. So that's why we are bullish about our future.
Correct. This helps. Thank you so much and wish you the best.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Dhruv Shah from Ambika FinCap. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity and congratulations on a really great set of numbers. My question is for Anand sir. So you have come from Juniper, who is a leader in enterprise business. So my question pertains to are we seeing a big opportunity in the enterprise side of the business, because I couldn't see that on the business opportunity side. So if you can just allude to that part, because the capital requirement for Tata Group companies would also be in a sizable portion for us.
So look, while we don't talk about the roadmaps, it's, what I really want to say is that we want to build a portfolio that's going to serve both service provider and enterprise in both wireline and wireless. That's the vision and mission of Tejas. Again, we want to build the next networking and telecom OEM company out of India, and we will serve any and every market that suits us, including the group.
Fair enough, sir. But are we trying to replicate the products which are there in Juniper and Tejas as well?
Look, I can't comment. As I said, I can't comment on the roadmap. When we launch it, you will see it.
Oh, fair enough, sir. Thank you for the opportunity and all the best.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Pratap Maliwal from Mount Intra Finance. Please go ahead.
Hi, am I audible?
Yes, Pratap, you're audible.
Hi, sir. Thanks for taking my question. So, I heard you said that the operations and maintenance part starts after a period of 3 years. So, assuming we complete the supply of equipment maybe by FY25 end or Q1 FY26. So, when does the contract for O&M come in?
So, it will come in from 3 years after they are commissioned. So, it is not that it starts right at the end of the last deployment. It's, for every different circle or every different deployment. I mean, as long as after their 3-year period, their maintenance cycle will start.
Okay, understood. And sir, you said that the one particular tender was running a bit behind schedule. I just missed that part. Was it the Kavach tender, the BharatNet tender? Which one is running a little bit behind schedule?
Yeah, the Kavach tender is running a bit behind schedule.
Okay, understood. And so just one last thing. So I see in the presentation that we've received some additional orders regarding that network densification part. So was this part of the original 7,500 crore order, or is it, something additional in place of that? And do we foresee maybe some additional sites that BSNL would require for which we can get further orders as well?
Yeah, so this is part, as I said, part of the tender scope, but not exactly part of the, the original plan network, right? This is kind of an add-on to the original plan for the network, because as and when the network is deployed and they are seeing more opportunities and, more customers, they are kind of enhancing their plans, as I would say, to upgrade the existing sites from the original plan to add more bands to increase their coverage and capacity. So that's what is happening. So technically it is part of the same tender that we have won, but the specific plan in terms of the deployment of a particular band in a particular site, I think that is something which is evolving and it's causing, it's adding to our business as these additional bands are coming up. So this is nothing to do. This is not connected to the additional sites for the saturation sites for the additional coverage.
Okay. So is there any timeline, because there's one prevailing line of thought that maybe 100K sites might not actually suffice for BSNL to have a nationwide 4G rollout, looking at the kind of networks that maybe some of the other players have. So is there any plan in the pipeline for some additional sites maybe to kind of have a proper network rollout for that?
Yes, I think that's what we mentioned in terms of BSNL. Our future opportunity, large opportunity is the expansion of BSNL's 4G network. So that is exactly what we're talking about, that beyond the initial 100,000 sites, BSNL is looking at least 20,000 plus sites for expanding their footprint across the country.
Understood, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you for taking my questions, and congrats on a good set of numbers.
Thank you.
We have time for one last question, please, here at the hour.
Sure. Thank you. The next question is from Pankaj Kumar, who's an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Hi, sir. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
Yes, Pankaj.
Yeah. So I wanted to know what is the amount of order won in the last quarter? What is the order mix in terms of India government, India private, and international? And can you give some color on what kind of orders have been won by the company in the last quarter?
So are you talking about the new orders won during the quarter?
In Q2, I'm talking about Q2, the orders won.
We don't really split to that level. I think the orders won and the backlog will be categorized as India and international. And whatever is there is, and we kind of don't disclose the individual bookings through a quarter. We don't disclose the numbers, but we kind of give a picture of the overall backlog and some color regarding domestic and international. Okay.
Okay. Thanks a lot.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So
look, as part of closing, again, I want to thank the team. The team has executed really well. We've delivered a lot on our orders, and we will continue to stay focused and execute as we deliver and also as we build our portfolio. And in the process, hopefully gain more customers, more markets, and build a healthy business.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Have a good night.
Yeah.
Thank you. On behalf of ICICI Securities, that concludes this conference. Thank you for joining us, and you may now disconnect your lines.